Are we up and running?
It's setting up here.
Okay.
There we be.
Looks like we're going.
Good. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everyone to November 18, 2021 meeting of the Washington County Board of Elections and our official canvass. We have our liaison with us. Caleb, how are you?
We're doing well.
Good. Is there anything you'd like to comment upon before we get started?
No, my perception is you guys had a very smooth election day. I was able to stop in on my circuit. I was able to get to 10 counties and things were running nice and smoothly here. What I did notice is that you guys had it worst of all my counties as far as the number of people showing up here to attempt to vote on election day. Every board has had those issues, but you guys probably had at least a dozen during my 20-minute stop, whereas other counties would have like 24 through the day. So I don't know how it is, but you guys had it really bad in terms of number of folks.
We did. We had
We
a
actually
steady
had
supply.
track. What was the final number?
I think we ended up with around 100 or a little over 100 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what methods could be done to try to avoid that in the future, but especially for the municipal cycle, that was very surprising.
Yeah. This seemed to be larger, I think, this time than in the past. And so, because everybody has folks, but we just seem to have an unending supply of folks who like it here.
Mhm. I think because so many people have started voting early ahead of time in office, they just get used to coming here
Yeah,
and then don't realize,
they can.
they can't on election day.
And
They don't read the paper.
Yeah, or our
Our
website.
website, our social media.
Very few people read the paper anymore.
Yeah, you guys weren't the only one with that problem.
Yeah, but apparently we were
We set a record.
high. Well, our Washington County people there.
And there was a couple people that were not too happy that they could
At
not
least they were
vote
interested in voting
Yeah,
that day.
yeah, they wanted to vote.
Right, at least
So
they wanted to
that
vote.
was a step
That's our
considering we had, what, about
plus sign.
23% of the population
Yeah.
showed up to tell, roughly 70, almost over 70% of the population what was gonna happen. God bless them. We had minutes from 2 meetings. I think they were sent out.
October 12th and November 2nd.
Yeah, our election day.
And you said I had Hal twice?
Yeah, in the November 2nd paragraph that begins, Chairman Sipe asked
Well, I in.
how Ms. Amos Howe. So I
Oh.
will take out the first Howe,
Okay.
probably be in good shape.
Were there any other additions or corrections?
You probably want to change Mrs. Kadeen to Mrs. Ritter.
Yeah, I thought I said.
Was that on
Fifth paragraph,
the 2nd?
November 2nd.
Oh, Mrs. Kadeen, yes.
You might also correct that at the bottom, if it's 2 places.
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Kadeen, gee.
Yeah,
You sound like a
well, if
brand.
nothing else, you're consistent.
And on the back, I was.
I was gonna say on the back, it was good.
I was, okay. Found the errors of my work.
I'll make a motion that both the minutes from October 13th and November 2nd be approved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
You can pass around the October 13th to sign, and I will have.
All right, I'll use mine, if that's
Yeah.
okay. And we will be acting on our certificate of election, but we'll probably start that, as you know. There's so many signatures needed, although we'll also be in a waiting period for absentees, perhaps a
Right,
smidge and so forth, as when we jury them.
Yeah.
Bills?
And the largest one on there, from Triad is our annual software fees. We usually pay those, the year prior, so I'd ask them for sales, so that's what the 21,000 is, but they'll cover from February of next year to the end of January in 2050. Yeah. And I believe it's just a slight bit higher than our last bill, but around less than $1,000 less.
Nobody's going to the port, software.
So, and that's for all of we have several,
Well, we have
softwares.
several
Yeah,
packages with us,
yeah,
yeah.
so. And that includes our the website stuff we have from them too.
Why are the winter conference fees there twice?
Because I accidentally put it on there twice.
We want to really make sure we get in.
You didn't mean summer, because I know you're already talking about summer.
Yeah, they have given us the dates, for summer,
June
but we're
20th.
not paying for it yet.
What was it, 28th and 29th?
Yes,
I think so.
and I've
Do you
already,
understand my question? About the winter conference date?
yeah, and I thought I responded. We're going up, I may go up early because they have classes, but we've got everybody for, what is it, the 10th and the 11th?
Just 2 nights.
Yeah, 2 nights, yeah.
Wednesday and Thursday,
Yes.
most likely.
Yeah, and then come home Friday.
Now, for this summer conference, I've already made our reservations, but I needed to know, I know sometimes Dennis, you're usually sometimes out on
Yeah.
vacation now,
Somewhere,
but it is
training
June,
grandkids around the world.
June 27th and 28th, and it's at the Hilton at Easton,
Instead of the downtown.
yeah.
Oh, really?
June
I
20th.
know. Somebody's got some money, wow.
Yeah.
For January,
Mhm.
the reservations are for the 11th and 12th?
Yes,
For
11th
the
and
nights of
12th.
the 11th and 12th.
Mhm.
So meetings are the 12th and 13th for us, but you're going up early.
No, meetings are the 11th and the 12th,
Usually we don't have to be there until afternoon.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
historically,
On the 11th?
we go up Wednesday, early enough to start the meetings that usually occur at 2:00 or thereabouts, and it's usually the Secretary of State and the association have a meeting, and we've checked into our rooms, sometimes gotten in, et cetera, on Wednesday. Then Thursday is an all-day
All day,
affair.
yeah.
And then Friday usually it's at breakfast, and it kind of closes the meeting with this, that, and the other thing,
Okay.
and we're on our way.
So I don't need the 11th on my calendar, I just
No,
need
you
the
don't.
12th.
No, yeah,
No.
you wouldn't need the
14th.
11th.
I just put it, yeah, it's the 12th through the 14th.
Yeah, again, for some of the staff, or if you're taking that class
Yeah, I need to get,
and so forth, they go up a day earlier.
Yeah, well, we need to
and you
sign up
guys-
for it.
Oh, what day is, we have to be there, it's the 11th or 12th?
you have to be there the 12th, usually around,
Oh,
is there
12th. I thought
luncheon,
we
do you have a
said 11th.
luncheon?
No,
No, on the
usually,
12th
usually you get there's probably a printout already of
Of the
what it
agenda.
Yeah,
is.
that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
And sometimes, if you're in the right spot, you
It
get
was
your
from Ann
room,
Hoffman,
and
I
sometimes they
think. I
take
think
your
it was from
bag
Ann
and
Hoffman.
put it
Yeah.
in storage for you.
Sure.
You get it later. We've had pretty good luck with you gals checking in early for us, that our
Go
rooms
ahead
are
and
are usually when we get there, we're kind of pre-checked and
Yeah, and they sent us information this time, you can, do like a check-in on your phone ahead of time, so you don't even have to go through the line. So,
well,
It's
at
easier
some
to get
point,
my plane tickets.
I didn't get your key.
well, yeah, so
You use it off your phone.
I think you can use your phone.
You can use your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, life's good.
Didn't realize.
Of course, you my battery was
Yeah.
locked out.
Yeah.
So we got a charger like I did
I was
last time
upset.
to buy one.
Well, that's what I forgot mine, and luckily I had drove, so I had one in my car. Then I think I forgot that one in the room, because now I can't find it, so.
All right.
We bought new totem,
Yeah, we bought, new totem poles for each location. A few of them were okay, and we didn't have to change them out yet, so we still have the
Start
single
signing that one.
good ones. But we did buy new ones because some of those were damaged.
yeah, okay. Are there any other questions on, again, our United Rental came in, good, good deal there. Oh, yeah, and again, just, I guess, for the public and so forth, is the signage for the front office door. That's the whole,
Yeah, the
Shebang.
whole flag that they
Yeah,
put on. And
looks
it was
very
the same
impressive.
kind of ramp that they use on vehicles,
yeah,
is what they use to put that on.
yeah, I'm still impressed with just how they.
Where'd you get it?
From Signality was the
They're
company
local.
that did it.
They're local.
They're a local.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And they already had it up on their Facebook yesterday afternoon. And they,
Oh, nice.
what do you say, pegged us, believe me.
Tagged.
Tagged, thank you. Pegged, tagged.
Is this on our signage for the, oh,
It's the last thing, yeah, that's on there.
What was the thing for James Wilson?
Oh, that's for Chip for the
Chip,
delivery.
yes, that's
Yeah,
right,
for
that's
the
right, that's right.
delivery. Because he wasn't gonna do it again, so I didn't make him do all of our payroll. To get added to our payroll. Since he wouldn't be doing.
Still in need of a Republican delivery worker,
Yeah, I
guys.
know. So fine.
these Republicans just won't do anything.
Lazy people.
I could say something, but I won't.
Well, it's not, I should repeat this, it's not as bad as what my staff person, when he talked to Dennis the other day on the phone.
Oh, I heard that.
That's
You heard
the
it?
agenda.
Let me tell you, I called her about, yes, I
The
did.
agenda for the winter
That,
conference.
that's a no-no.
I understand. If more people would do it like that, I think we'd all be happier.
This is just,
This is the
Is it just
agenda.
gonna be REO, there is no,
I told her, I said, we don't do that.
we gotta check something.
Yeah.
And you broke it.
I mean, if they're not gonna, and they're starting at ten
They're
thirty
starting at
Yes.
10 on Wednesday.
on third, I mean, this is a little different.
Yeah.
May wanna consider that.
Oh, and we had to, they wanted to know what level of comfort we are in gatherings.
Like, and like with
So it was
physical
red, yellow,
contact.
green. Green was, I'm completely fine with being with anybody. So the majority of us put green. If anybody was yellow or red, let us know, but I think, I don't know if they're dividing us by red, yellows and greens at the conference or what.
I think
but-
it's gonna be on our,
Oh, it's
like
on
our
the tags, it's on the name tag,
Like,
so.
it'll either be like the lanyard or name
hug
tag
me
or
on-
something.
Yeah, exactly, so if you have red, don't hug a red.
Yeah, if you're red, you don't hug or fist bump or anything.
Oh, it's gonna be on your name
It's
tag.
gonna be on
Yeah,
the
if you're
name tag.
yellow, you can do like an elbow bump or anything.
What did you put for all?
Basically, we kind of put
We're on
green.
YouTube, so I'm.
We found photographs on the Valley Gym of Matt Dam Schroeder
Oh,
when he was 8 years old.
wow.
So I'm gonna try to keep those and take them up there in case I run into him.
Yeah.
Cause he was our
That'd be
neighbor.
pretty neat.
Oh, he
And
was.
they came and visited, cause he was on the Valley Gym
Is he
and
gonna
so
be there
forth,
or
cause
something?
Matt was the
Matt is-
same age.
Is he with the
used to work
Franklin
for
County?
Secretary of State.
He used to be,
something might
yeah,
be-
he was the
Kind of like
the
second.
director or deputy
Yeah.
director
Oh.
originally in Franklin County, then he went to work, I think, for, I think it was Houston.
Yeah,
And, yeah, so anyway.
Yeah,
Where is he
he
now?
was,
He took another job doing something.
he wasn't, what was it, DAS or,
oh, yeah, Department of Administrative Services, he was the director of that.
I'm not sure if
agency
he still is or not.
Under
but-
Kasich, I believe. I don't know what he's doing in the, DeWine administration.
I'll try to ask him.
He's
Yeah.
he's
I mean, potentially he
pretty
would,
popular for
He
the
usually makes his
administration.
appearance, or he has last couple.
yeah.
That I've gone. All right. Any other questions on our bills?
Looks like we have to be there at 10.
Well, that's for our classes, so no, it looks like Wednesday,
It looks like there's nothing now.
yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like you
I
guys
thought
could
we
even
might
come up
have
Thursday morning if you wanted to. And just stay Thursday and Thursday night.
Right.
Well, what does 10 to 1 mean?
I think that might be those REO.
Yeah, those are the classes that, if you guys need any credits, I mean, you could always come up for that, but I'll definitely be up there because I need to have my REO classes.
I probably need the credits because I'm still
No,
behind.
I guess if we
Yeah, I don't know, because I'll see how many credits you'll get just for
Yeah.
the stuff on Thursday
you
and
might
Friday.
contact somebody,
Yeah.
the leadership at the,
Excuse me.
OA,
For the
you know,
associate, yeah.
just ask them, is there any benefit to board members coming and taking
When
a
did you
class?
come in?
Right.
Can you get us?
Oh, last night.
Well, yesterday, I flew to Columbus, they hit there at 2:30. My son came in, got to his house,
Motion
dumped the little
to,
girls.
I will make a motion that the bills be approved with the correction of removing the second winter conference fees.
Okay.
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, correspondence seems to be what we're about to do.
Yep. There's a copy of that directive.
Attached in here.
Yeah.
I looked at it online. Okay. All righty, where would you like to start?
We could start with,
But can I go over some of my stuff
yeah.
before we go into
I'll
this?
do
Dennis, we met with the commissioners and the superintendents, was that Monday? And, they asked us to kind of come back and that they are willing to work with us still. We do need to tour. They need to know probably by the 1st of December. So, I've been working with Buckeye Hills on this and what Jason Pyle's suggestion was to find out what precincts, what voting locations we know we'd rather not be there any longer. So what I did, and in my estimation, I felt that was Paw Paw, New Matamoros, possibly Newport, and Lighthouse. Just because the lighthouse is just that electric out there is crazy. So if you look, I made copies of these are just a rough draft, but Mandy presented, this is the polling places, if you find it, it might be under this part. No, that's what you had. Oh, right here, Charlie. This one.
Right here.
This is the number of voters from each precinct. And we lump them by voting location. So our average, like at Belpre, we have nearly 10,000 voters, registered voters there. At Washington County Fairgrounds, we have 11,600. So if you see these crazy, it's basically what I did was I took Marietta, all of Marietta city precincts with the exception of what's out at Reno. And I don't think any Marietta city votes at Reno. I think that's all Reno and outside. Am I correct there?
I thought some of Marietta did vote in
Maybe some of them, let me know. Anyway, I did
The
leave,
school system votes.
yes.
Yeah, that's what made me think that some of Marietta might.
So I took Marietta City precincts, and that includes First Naz, 2 of the precincts at the Knights of Columbus, and 5 precincts at the fairgrounds. Now, obviously, that may mean 20,263 registered voters. That would not be necessarily at one polling place. In that case, we could use maybe several schools or 2 schools in the city of Marietta. For Belpre, I basically kept all of the Belpre Church of Christ and Porterfield, which are 2 precincts. And we could use Belpre City Schools, and that gives us 13,000 voters, 13,600. The Warren precincts, I just took all of Lighthouse, and that gives us 9,000 voters, 9,400. At the Washington County Career Center, I took the other 2, Marietta West and Muskingum West, and then all of Pinehurst at the Career Center, and that gives us 5,700. And again, these are just rough drafts, and I know you guys are busy signing. I then put together, and this is where I'm a little confused, and I need your assistance here or your input. I combined Lower Salem, Lowell, and Adams. Lower Salem with the Aurelius, Liberty, and Salem, and then adding,
That's Paw Paw, right?
yes, and then adding Fearing, because Fearing currently votes at the First Nats. And then Lowell and Adams. And that could be, I put either at Lowell or Salem School. Probably Lowell, to be honest. And then
How
Wolf,
many voters would,
that would pertain 4,458 voters. And then at Wolf Creek Schools at Waterford Elementary, it would be Beverly Waterford, Waterford A, Palmer, and Watertown. That gives us about 5,800 voters. I'm keeping Reno, Marietta Township Rec Center completely intact, because that's about 5,229 voters.
Which one, Reno?
All of Reno, who votes at Reno now will continue to vote at Reno. And then I combine Newmat and Newport, that could be at Frontier Schools, and that's 4,564. So that would give us this many polling places. Probably 2 in the city of Marietta, maybe 2 in the city of Belpre. So 2 for Warren schools, 1 or 2, so 6, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would give us 11 voting locations. So it cuts us down to 2. But maybe if we can have all of Warren's complex, we wouldn't need to. Say, some would go to the elementary and some would go to the high school.
well, again, what was the total number
The big one is still,
at Warren?
at Warren is 9,424.
All right. So 9,000 and 45% of 9,000. So 4,500, 4,000, roughly 4,000 voters would appear.
Yeah.
At a presidential.
At a
There's
presidential.
30% vote here, 70 some odd percent total vote, so subtract the 30 and you got 40 something. So that's the number of human beings.
Do you think if we weren't able to use the schools in the city of Marietta, I still think we can, we can work with it, but do you think 45% of 20,263 could vote at the fairgrounds if we left it there?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I
Not just
really
we
don't
have
see
it all
how
over.
the Marietta City Schools would work. I really don't get.
Well, and the other thing was,
logistics there.
exactly. The other thing about the city, what all the superintendents said, they could only give us one day. They might give us November, but they don't think they could give us a day for the primaries.
But that would be really
School year?
confusing for people.
Well,
Yeah. I
it's
think
just another
gonna be
day
a
that they
mess.
have to give up. Now, if we're lucky, and it's in March, who knows, they may have snow. I don't want snow on
Well,
Monday.
Well, we can't plan for that, yeah. I
Maybe
agree.
for this coming primary, they can't because they've already planned their school year.
Mm-hmm,
But if we tell them, look, starting in November, we're gonna need both dates every year. So
Yeah.
just plan
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can't
But
do,
this year,
Yeah.
I understand,
yeah,
right, for,
'cause your
Yeah.
calendar's already set,
right, we just start in November anyway, so that won't confuse anybody, but.
correct.
so mull these over, take them home, look at it, see what you guys think. I'm gonna take it to Jason and we're gonna work on,
Yeah, the other thing you're gonna get for us, right, is, satellite pictures of
yes,
these locations so we can see how car parking, et cetera, will play out.
yes,
That's the thing I was thinking about all this, all these booters that these parking.
yeah,
Yeah, because Lowell Elementary, that's one of the primary concerns I had there was parking.
Yeah, that's pretty tight. That's a residential area.
Yes, it
Again,
is.
if school's in session, they're gonna be teachers taking up a portion of it.
well,
Unless there's some agreement or something, they can
yeah,
park on the city streets.
I think they
or
could ask the
something.
teachers to park on the streets that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as there's enough.
But then the other question is, we would wanna know from them, where do the buses come and go? And we're gonna have classes,
mhm,
et cetera. Well, how does the bus traffic work?
mhm.
The only problem I see right now too is the fact that you're gonna vote one election someplace, then we're gonna go back, because you can't use the school to do another again.
No, yeah, I know,
No, I
Change your
think
mind.
if we're going to the schools, they have to realize we're gonna use them twice during the school
Yeah.
year.
yeah,
And potentially we'd show up on some special in August.
well, that would be, well,
At least
that, they wouldn't be in
That
school
shouldn't
then,
impact- That shouldn't impact them,
yeah,
except, I suppose,
That's just
Like
late
sports.
starting certain sports. that we-
but doesn't still August elections have to be the first Tuesday after the first
Yeah.
Monday?
Well, I'm just saying if their sporting event, or
Let's hope we
sporting
don't have
teams
special.
might be using the weight room at least, or the track.
So, like I said, just mull it over, I'm gonna work with Jason and, by our December meeting then.
There you go.
Alright.
Well,
I ran out of ink.
we need to go as well, because we need to have eyes on the room.
Yeah, oh, exactly, exactly.
And they want us to.
They want us to
We
as
want
well.
to visit, but I think it would be good also, again, just to have a feel for how it looks from the sky.
Okay,
We know about parking. Because that could have an impact.
does anybody know anybody that's got a drone? that takes pictures? Do you?
Yes, Davis Powers can do it.
Davis Power?
I had thought about that, but a
Yeah.
drone.
What's that, a
The
drone?
drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
Davis could do
yeah,
it. He
we had
works for the
drones
sheriff's
of our
office
time.
Okay,
Doing the
They
drone.
fly over, take a picture, they put their iPhone in the drone,
Oh,
and away they go.
And
okay.
actually, I have to talk to him today about something else. so I'll-
Okay, just mention to him and have him
Yeah,
give my name, say I may be in contact with him shortly.
yeah, because that would be current.
Davis
We wouldn't be
Powers with
thinking
the,
about it being
sheriff's
a
office.
couple
stuff
years
is
old.
Not great,
yeah,
so
so,
the auditor's office.
And they probably have the licensing and everything. The sheriff's office probably does.
Oh, yeah,
too.
he's got.
Good,
All
okay.
right, so that sounds
I
like
wanna
a
go with
plan.
him.
All
You
right.
don't get to go.
I wanna go with the drone.
Yeah, let's get cranked here.
all right, well, we'll start with the provisionals here, going over those. And you'll have that in your packet, I think will be your first. It says for Washington County, election.
Something like this.
Yes.
I think there's a copy up here. Yeah, or no, it's right over here.
Actually, did run out of ink. Actually did run out of ink.
Oh, did you run
Yeah.
out? No, I did too.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I ended up using that red one.
Actually, you might want that absentee in there too, a copy of it. There's probably more than one, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it ran out or I was just going so fast.
All right. Well, the first group of provisionals, these are ones that people were registered to vote in another county in Ohio. they moved here and voted provisionally here. We've contacted all the counties that those people lived in prior. They were all registered to vote there and none of them voted in their
Elsewhere.
previous county.
So these are moved here, but
Yeah, moved here from another.
registered in another county.
Yeah, another Ohio county.
And of course, we now have them registered.
They will be, yeah, after today, we'll get them
After today.
registered. And then they'll come up then in our duplicate system.
And everything else worked out as far as signatures.
Yeah, they were properly completed.
IDs, et cetera,
Yeah.
filled out properly by the staff.
Right,
And we're talking about 1 through 8.
yeah, 1 through 8.
These are good to know.
Do we need a motion on each one of those?
Yes, you do.
You could just do them as a
A
group.
group,
You could just do a group 1 through 8. We actually were, as a whole, for all of our provisionals, they were all properly completed this time. We didn't have any that had any
slip
missing
up.
information, so that was good this time.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Good training.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as I said, that all of the provisionals were all properly completed. So, yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Remember, we gotta put that on their evaluation.
That's good. I mean, usually there's
All right.
some
there's
that's
usually
not.
at least one that maybe somebody didn't sign or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't put something.
left something on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
their ID.
No
or
voter
something.
signed.
Right. So,
So good, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. All right, so we're looking at 1 through 8, I think is what we're passing through here.
yeah,
I'll make a motion to accept the votes for 1 through 8 on the sheet.
Have a motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes.
Okay.
All right, brings us to
the
3 of
next-
those.
yeah, the next group there is, registrations were canceled, so these people had been deleted.
And they're in that group that are deleted.
Yeah, so only one of them, number 10, is part of that, APRI exception. As part of it, because they were deleted in 2019. The other two, one was deleted in 2005, and the other one was actually deleted last year. But that was for, being in,
So the one that was deleted in '05, would that mean they hadn't voted since like 1999?
yeah. So,
Been something special about this year.
that's something.
Well, yeah,
something they
although
wanted to-
occasionally in this part of the world, people who are involved in oil and gas find themselves in Saudi Arabia for 20 years and then come back because they're done and, or they're getting a new company.
But there were several, that was a pretty
Or they're a
contentious
spouse of
village
some
council
who
race.
went to work
Several
for
people ran.
an oil and
Seven or
gas.
eight.
Yeah, but 22 years?
I know, 22 years.
So you could see a fairly long time. And then once in a while, might have been a former client of mine, although
Was
my
not-
clients didn't tend to get 22 years.
You didn't do a good job.
So you have this under rejected
Yeah, this is under the rejected, that their registration.
because the registration was canceled
Yeah.
properly.
Right,
So
but the one in 19, we can count because of that exception.
So now do these people,
So,
now
so
now
that's
got
what I meant.
registered?
Yeah, that's number 10.
Number 10 is good,
Yeah, we can count it, but the
but
other.
you can't
two we
count
cannot.
9 and 11,
So
right?
these-
That's just, yeah.
Why can we count number 10?
It's the APRI exception, it was based on a lawsuit. To where people that were deleted in, 11, 13, 15, and, 19.
So we'll need 2 separate motions.
Okay. So 9 and,
All right, I'm going to make a motion to accept number 10.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Then the second motion,
I'll make a motion that we do not accept number 9 or number 11.
Second. Does he need seconds from the opposing party?
no, it's,
Should we put in the motion why we didn't, and we rejected it?
what's that?
Should we put in the motion why we rejected it?
Well, I think we probably made at least a record that we're rejecting because of a cancellation that had not been corrected.
Yes.
Although this will now correct it.
Yeah, this one I'll re-register them, so they'll
And
be good for.
we're always referring to our sheet, because again, we only use, for folks who might be in, they're not hearing names and so forth. We tend to use numbers, and we have yet another, for instance, an application number that further identifies, and then further there's a voter precinct. But we only use this number so that in the slight chance that there's only one human being in a particular precinct, and someone's vote changes by one, you would then know how that person voted if we identified them by name. So that's why we do it by number, so that the voter can feel confident that we're not telling the public how they voted on a particular issue or on a particular candidate. So I've got a motion and second for 9 and 11. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Right, and then the next group, these are people who asked for an absentee ballot. On your sheet, it has it rejected as previously cast ballot. Their ballots were not returned to us. I just have them in that category so we can have them separated, so that you can vote on them. But their ballots have not been returned for counting. So we can count these provisional.
Right, so under that
And that's-
status, it says rejected.
Yeah, previously cast. So we'll change that over after we're done.
So actually then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, our folks who appeared and requested an absentee ballot were properly then voted through the provisional system.
Right,
And our review of our records show that these 5 individuals did not send in their absentee
Right.
ballot. So therefore, those ballots are otherwise proper on their face. That is the way the forms, the provisional was filled out. They then can be opened and counted.
Correct.
If we approve them.
yes.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know, but it drives me insane.
Well, again, it's good that our system's working that way.
Yeah,
In other words, we're seeing it,
I just
catching
hate
it.
knowing that those
We're not
ballots
letting
are out
right
there.
People vote twice, like in Franklin County.
And then call the Secretary of State and tell them that they
God bless
did it.
them.
Yeah.
They've never
One
done
person did
something
bring
like
theirs
that.
back, it's on the back of
Secretary of State.
that last.
Probably not.
Oh.
Well,
So the poll.
through reconciliation, they should have.
Yeah.
Good
So to
job.
make sure I'm
Or
clear on,
something.
to make sure I'm
That's a good
clear on
job.
this, the following 17 through 31, those are people that requested absentee ballots and returned them and showed up at the polling location?
No, we're doing 12 through 16.
Yeah, I'm talking about the next ones after.
Oh, the next one's after, no, those are ones that are just accepted. That status where it says rejected previously cast ballot, that's for the ones.
That's a
above.
total. You see the number 5 out to the right.
Yeah, so
So
the
it's,
ones
Go to
starting at
fire.
17 are
So
listed as
did
accepted.
you not have any provisionals where they requested an absentee ballot and returned it and tried to vote?
No, we didn't have any of them,
Okay.
yeah.
we have in the
Before
past,
we have, yeah,
I'm
but this
taking
time.
number
God bless
9
them.
and 11 out of there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, she.
Oh, we need to
yeah.
take, 9 and
I
11,
didn't take them out, but I
Take those out, 9
separated
and
them.
11 out of there.
as they.
Those are the
yeah,
ones
they
we're
will.
counting.
So we're so far number 10,
Well, wait a minute.
only one objected.
Or no, 10 was accepted, 9 and 11
Correct.
were
These
rejected.
are
Yeah,
accepted.
so right now, that's our
Rejected.
rejected file. Very good.
Well, you have a motion, or I have it.
Well,
Already
I'm
done it.
waiting.
I'll make a motion, we accept 12 through 16.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right, so we got those done.
All right, so
That
then,
brings us to the next group.
yeah, so it starts at 17, but it does go to the next page and it goes all the way to 66.
And these are,
Yeah, these are just people who moved or changed their name, or moved and changed their name, or they didn't have any ID with them when they went to the polling place, so they voted provisionally.
In these all okay after.
Yeah, and everything was properly completed and signed. So thankfully, that's our biggest group.
Yeah, I suppose I could look through.
Yeah, and we wrote at the top if it was AC for address change or AC for name change.
Gotcha, yeah, right. And again, once again, these folks now will be put into our system, so they should, all things being equal, fly right through with the poll book, the authorization and off to the
Yeah, for
machine.
next time, unless they move again,
And unless something else
but in
happens.
between time, yeah, but.
I'll make a motion, we accept 17 through 66.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. You want the clerks to get started on that?
They could start on the meeting.
yep. I'll take it to.
Because that looks like,
Yeah, that's our biggest.
looks like a fairly long, a large lump.
Yep.
We can get started on that. Andy?
All right, well, the next group that starts with 67 through 72, these are people who are not registered to vote.
Period.
We could not find them registered here or anywhere else in the state. We looked at our voter query system. I checked and I had Alyssa double check and neither of us could find any record that they're registered.
This is number
So,
67.
They're registered now, right?
They will, yeah. And they weren't properly completed, so we can register them.
Is this just through 69 or is it through
Through
72?
72.
I'll make a motion that we reject ballots 67 through 72.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Okay, so the very last group, these people voted in the wrong, either voted in the wrong polling location or got the wrong ballot in the correct polling location.
Wait a minute,
How would that happen?
how could that happen? We don't.
They were given a paper ballot,
Okay.
so they were given the wrong.
So the poll worker gave them the wrong ballot.
Right, poll worker error, yeah. So that's what this first one, this is
How do
number
we know?
41.
Oh, we know that because of what's on the outside.
Yeah.
Is it possible when we open it up, we're gonna discover there's a different ballot?
It is possible, so.
So let's
This one
do this
was,
one
yeah,
at
so
a time.
this person was at the correct polling location, but they just got the wrong precinct ballot.
But it was a paper ballot.
Right, it's a paper ballot. Like
They were,
regular
so they were
full
given the wrong ballot, and before they cast it, they caught it and they went to the poll worker and said.
No. No, they were still given,
They
as
still
far as we
voted.
know.
As far as we know, we've looked at these people. When they originally came in, what was their problem to get provision?
It was an address change.
Oh,
Yeah,
AC, my bad.
yeah.
So this person has a number 73, am I correct?
Yes, number 70.
73 had an address change. But according to what we have up here, the poll worker,
It should have been a Marietta East
East B, and got an East A,
East A, yeah.
is what they're saying on the sticker.
The ballot should actually be the same, because it's all the same township. So
Okay,
any of the races won't actually be any different than.
Should have gotten an A or a B.
They should have got a B, but they got A.
but it actually is the same ballot?
Yeah, it has all the same races on it,
There are no extras,
But.
no less.
no.
Yeah, pardon
So we
me,
had it.
I'm having trouble walking through this myself, so inside, so this voter was supposed to vote in 3,
Or it was Marietta East B,
they're supposed to vote in B.
right, but
And
they got
they
a
were
ballot.
initially given the ballot for A,
Yeah, that's the only ballot they were given is for A,
and it's in that envelope.
right,
We
It's
think,
the incorrect ballot.
right.
except that the ballots are identical.
So it's all at the same location, it's our Marietta Township Recreation Center location.
Mhm.
But everything on the ballot is identical
Yeah, because
from,
it's the same township.
And there's a slight possibility we open it up and it turns out that the ballot's correct and the sticker they put on the top,
Yeah,
the envelope is the wrong envelope.
are we allowed to open that before you make a,
Well, this is poll worker error,
yeah,
so is
So you
that
can
we
accept
can
it.
excuse it, so we
Right.
can accept it. And considering that it's the same ballot, I would like the voter to have a chance to vote.
That to me is the key, that it's the same contest.
right.
Yeah,
Now, if
All we
it
have to do is
was,
remake this ballot, wouldn't we?
yeah, if we
Yeah.
needed to, we could just remake the
we could
ballot.
remake it
Yeah,
as well. And again, if it were a situation where we couldn't count,
some of the races.
some of the races, it could still be,
Right.
but in this case,
Yeah.
they're identical except for the
so you are allowed to accept a partial ballot?
certain.
Yeah, if it's,
Yes.
yeah, if you're in the correct polling, if the voter's in the correct polling location, that gets the wrong ballot from that location.
Right church, wrong
Yeah.
pew.
Mhm.
Now, like if it would have been, luckily, at Marietta, or at the, Marietta Township Recreation Center, they were all the same this time, the ballots were. But if you were like at Lighthouse,
Mhm.
where there's different townships, then we could remake it to everything that was the same.
Was the
Yeah,
same.
my 2 cents would be to remake the ballot, because even if it's the same contests and it's all just fine, if you were to count it as is, then the results in precinct,
A and A, right.
Yeah.
it would be incorrect to who lives within the
Right.
precinct.
Yeah.
So I would remake that.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we already said
We already
that.
figured that out. Yeah, we're good there. I'm not here, Charlie, in case there wasn't.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion with respect to number 73,
Right.
that we will accept it, allow the staff to open it, we'll review it, make sure the ballot is, figure out if the ballot is correct,
No, I didn't. I forgot
and then
that.
remake it so that this vote will count.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Oh, Todd. Yeah.
Opposed, passes. All right. So let's set that one somewhat aside.
She's got it.
Yep,
I was gonna say, can we just open
everything, everything.
I don't
I'm
think
done.
I got a slice one.
All right.
it? Yeah, we need Mr. Huggins' long knife.
We actually found a whole box of those yesterday.
Long knives or the
The
short?
long knives.
Oh, my. Maybe you put one with his name on it?
I should mail him one.
You should.
Fine.
This is an East A.
Okay, so they did get it
It does
wrong.
need to-
Yes, we'll have to.
So we have to remake that one. Yeah, well, please let the clerk know. Thank you.
All right, the next three actually, 74, 75, and 76, they voted at the Marietta Township Recreation Center, but they should have voted in Lowell, at the Lowell Adams precinct, so in Beverly, for two of them. And then one of them should have voted in Marietta 3A, which was at the First Church of the Nazarene.
Yep.
So we might need to speak with,
Those ballots will be different.
right.
So they was all in the wrong,
Those are wrong church, wrong people.
Yeah,
wrong church, wrong pew.
Yes.
there's nothing right about it.
Right.
But no, again, one of the things the forms don't have a place for is for the poll worker to explain to us that the voter was insistent that this is where they vote, they're not moving, they aren't going any, you know what I'm saying is, that it's the
Right,
poll worker did not
I've seen
commit an
counties that-
error.
I've seen counties that attach forms like that.
Yeah, we have a form, but I don't know if the poll workers put it in there.
Yeah, at one point in time, way back, of course, this years ago, there was a little spot on the,
Yeah, the envelope itself.
where you could put that little note and so forth that said the voter, you know, we didn't want to start World War III, you know, with the voter.
So this is, I walked out, 74, 75, 76, these are wrong precinct,
Yeah, wrong precinct, or well, wrong polling location
Wrong election.
and,
Refuse to go to the correct
wrong
precinct.
ballot, right, I mean, they
and refused to
Either refused or the poll worker,
incorrectly told
because
them.
we have an address change there, here's an address and name change both. So I'm guessing this person got married and moved. Well, that's just a guess because it seems like it's a young lady, but it's a name that I guess I couldn't say for sure. And then this one just has nothing.
Yeah, maybe,
Showed
it
up.
must have been an address change, because their addresses are different there.
That's
So
true,
we just forgot
yeah.
to write it on there, but.
From Sisler, Sandhill, et cetera, so. So again, those will be handy for poll worker training and so forth. And to discuss with them that we have a sheet if it turns out it's a voter who's adamant. I mean, they can take that sheet and attach it, just so that we have an idea that that's what was going on as opposed to the poll worker or poll workers, because it looked like there were two initials on there.
but they have to sign it bipartisanly.
That they weren't sending, you know, and again, the poll book should have
Yeah, would have told them they had
Should have
to
pointed
know.
them in the right direction, and I think gives them the address, and I think you can even get a direction out of them,
Yeah, you can.
so. And it all happened at,
At the Marion Township Recreation Center. So, and I mean, that was their old polling location for all of those people.
well, that's where they
Yeah, so
appeared,
they didn't send them to their new,
their new one, they just sent them to the provisional table.
yeah,
Okay, well, that's a shame,
I don't know,
because that's a real shame, because unfortunately, we can't fix.
right, fix those.
All right, I make a motion, we reject ballots number 74, 75, and 76.
Second.
I have a motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes. All right,
So that's all of the provisionals,
we're partway there.
so we can add to our stack over here.
Did you remake the budget early or did you?
There's our projected
The
bond.
early,
Okay.
like we did the provisionals, yeah.
I was there for my night.
Yeah. Okay, all right, well, our next group are absentees, which that'll be in your packet, and it'll say at the top, absentees cured.
And it looked like you had a total of 3, and just from the standpoint, 2 cured and 1 didn't.
One was not, right.
So that's a pretty good number, 1. Okay.
So the first group are the 2 that were cured by time, by the 7 days after the election.
Mhm.
And they're number 1 and 2.
So they're-
And then we put that, because when they miss something on their ID envelope, we send them that letter. I think it's a Form 11S. And they, all they have to do is complete the information on that letter, and then we can count their ballot.
Return it to us.
So these people correctly cured their ID on them.
Yes. And then we save, and that letter stays with their ID envelope after we've taken the ballot out, so that it's a whole, as a whole unit.
Whole packet.
Yeah.
These are, these are.
Actually, if you guys wanna remake it, you wanna have them go ahead.
Yes, you wanna go, yeah, two of you
Yeah, you have them.
remake it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the cured absentee ballots numbers 1 and 2.
Have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Okay, and then the next group, these were ballots, this is 3 through 28, that were received by or they were postmarked by the deadline and received within the 10 days after the election. Because they had to be postmarked November 1st, because the election was November 2nd. So
Right.
they had to be postmarked the day before.
Before or before that.
Yeah, or even before the 1st. So,
No problems with those.
yeah, and they were all okay. And some of them didn't even come from out of the area. I think there was,
Yeah, I noticed
Yeah.
a few that were,
I think even out of state.
yeah, distant.
Mhm.
The key is that postmark.
Yeah, and this time we had postmarks on all of them.
Yeah.
All of our ballots, yeah. this
Amazing,
time.
we never have that.
I know, it never.
Mark that down.
I only
Yeah.
had one county that needed my barcode scanned.
Did you? That's pretty good.
It was Wayne County, so I didn't have to drive far.
Yeah,
Uh,
so the post office was doing good this time.
they did.
Yeah.
We've had to have x-ray vision a time or two.
They had problems up in Worcester with the post office, number of ballots came in where there's no postmark. Literally, just the post worker takes a pen and draws a couple lines with stamps, and that's a postmark.
That's there.
They had 2 that had no postmark or barcode.
That's what we've had before too.
We've had that.
Yeah.
What we tend to look at though is what did they come in with?
Well, that is to say, look at your statistics here, Wayne County accepted 32 late absentees and rejected 38 late absentees.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we accept ballot 3 through 28.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And then that leaves us with A through E.
And these ones were postmarked after
Teachers, all the directions.
the deadline. So they were postmarked either November 2nd or later.
Absentees after.
Yeah, November 2nd on every one.
This is November 1st.
Tough.
These are up here.
These are.
Yeah, we'll
those are
look at
No,
it.
they're gonna go over yonder.
Yeah, so we don't count them.
Make a motion that we do not accept ballots A through E.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
All right, and our last one, this was an absentee that we had sent a letter to because their signature did not match what we had on record. And I have a copy of their application they sent in and what we had on their voter record for them. So you can see. And they did not send any letter back with at all to us. We sent the Form 11F to
Yeah,
them.
it's a bit of a different signature.
Okay.
Might be the reason.
Yep.
Which, a big difference, isn't
Yeah, that might be the reason there was no attempt to cure.
Yeah.
it? That's for sure.
Red-handed.
God bless them. On the other hand, who knows?
I'm curious to see.
The proud owner of 5 different signatures.
I'll make a
It's like
motion that
some
we reject
third grader just learned cursive, like,
absentee
yes,
marked
ma'am.
F.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. So that takes care of that. It looks like the staff was busy at work.
We're waiting on,
I'll tell you,
Mike and
what.
RBM, they're back there
That one, he said.
at work.
What did you say?
the absentees.
I know who that is.
Oh, really?
We're gonna go ahead and take those absentees to them now, to the staff and so forth. And Mike from RBM's back
Okay.
there, gonna go ahead and start taking care of that.
Meanwhile, if you want to talk a little bit, we did give you, this is the new congressional map,
Probably best.
probably. It goes to the Senate today.
Yes.
We're split. I don't like that. Washington County, it looks like Belpre, Warren Township. I can't.
I still don't understand just the shape of six.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to bring it.
I mean,
Well,
why can't we have
Appalachia
more
now is in
squarish
3 or
things?
4 different congressional districts.
Yeah, well, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah. So,
So anyway, that's.
Where is that split?
we think it's Belpre, if I can't see those lines close enough, we think it's Belpre, probably what, Warren Township? Is that is Dunham out that way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's the one closest to the Morgan Athens County line? What township's that?
Wesley, Fairfield.
I was wondering about like Wesley and Decatur and then Fairfield.
Yeah,
Okay.
all those.
Just hope there aren't precinct splits.
That's what I said too.
That's what we're
Yeah.
afraid
I
of.
don't
like to
understand where they would, why can't you draw a line at the county? I mean,
Well, it's
I mean,
by
that much
population.
difference.
What
By
do,
population.
yeah, how many has to be in a congressional district now? It used to be 250,000, but see, we lost a seat.
Well, it hasn't been 250,000 for decades. You're talking 750,000.
Oh, is it 750 now? Okay, so,
State keeps getting bigger, but you lose congressional districts because other states are growing faster,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
our districts are just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger.
whenever you went to the urban areas too. So, anyways, that's that.
Yeah, I mean, frankly.
I'm sure there'll be
county has
lawsuits.
a swamp there and at least we don't have that.
Can I see that map? That's better quality.
Yeah, again, I'm just curious why
Yeah, you can have that
Franklin
data.
couldn't have gone up to a county line.
It looks like-
Right, because there's a weird little area there that
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know, I saw that.
maybe it
It
follows the
looks like there's
city
about 5 different places where,
or an
Split a
incorporated
county.
area or
Yeah.
something, I don't know.
And what were because they couldn't split.
Because even like Clark County has kind of a weird,
Well, looks like a bunch of fingers
yeah.
going up in it. Greene County means Xenia. Dayton, is that Dayton? Yeah.
Tis what it is.
Well, I get it. Yeah, and then we got Pickaway and Ross County,
Mm-hmm.
which of course is part of our Court of Appeals
Mm-hmm. The Southern District.
and so forth, which is strange. Oh, well, again, nobody asked my 2 cents worth. That's probably what it is.
Now, have they already
2
voted on the
cents worth.
state and the Senate and House maps? Or is this all,
The state house and state senate maps, they are adopted,
they are adopted,
I mean,
okay.
pending litigation,
Pending-
but they are
Yeah.
final.
Everything's
And those were adopted by the commission. This is coming out of the legislature.
Yes, yes.
So we'll see what.
And no, I'm afraid I don't have any insider scoops on it. They tell us very little about this.
We'll ask Frank tomorrow.
He'll probably tell us he can't say anything.
our county only 6 last time.
Where's-
Was our county, the whole county?
We were always, because we were clear into Athens. Athens was split.
We're gonna.
Okay.
And we didn't go up
You know
to
what we're
Trumbull,
gonna
we
need
just
to
went up to
worry about.
Mahone, or Mahoney.
I put in, actually, I needed to put out the audit workbook, I haven't done that yet. Because we'll, once we have our, final results, then we can see how much they need for our audit, what our percentage is, that we can draw.
And then I think we were looking at 2 elections maybe, where we have to see if we're within the automatic recount, considering how close they were at election night. So we have those to take care of. Can we though, I guess we can select an audit date?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And we have to have it
We have to
by.
wait 6 days, and then what's the outer date?
The last day we can, we think, is December 9th.
I won't be back in town until the 8th.
We were kind of, Mandy, we had to give a date to the Secretary of State, so we kind of put down the 8th.
Well,
Since
the
that would be
8th
our
would work as a
normally-
regular business meeting,
And that would be
right?
our regular.
right, that would be our normal, regular, monthly meeting anyway.
So, the old kill two birds with one stone. So the 8th works,
Yep,
old American.
December 8th at 8:30.
December.
Which will be here before you know it.
Hmm?
I says, which will be here before you know it.
I'll have to drive 100 mile an hour to get here, but I'll be here.
Well, we can make it later if it's easier for
100
you.
miles an hour, that would get me here in about 2 hours.
No, I went 400 miles an hour and it took me 2 hours and a half to get here.
Is that the flight? It's 2.5 hours?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh, is it?
That's to Columbus. Then I
Yeah.
had to drive the 2 hours back.
It's almost like, some of those flights, it's like you go up, and if you're sitting anywhere near the engine, you hear it the whole time, and then all of a sudden it's quiet as you come down. On some of those flights, by the time they get up as high as they're gonna go, they start down.
Or if you fly to DC, you go up and then you go down. Because that's all the longer it
That's
takes.
all it is, yeah.
Okay, December the 8th.
Okay.
Do you want it later? Or you can fly in that day?
No, we're driving. We're driving.
So you'll be here, so we can start at 8:30 then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm leaving the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Right, well, that's kind of what I thought.
I've got to check with Carol also.
All right, then Christmas, New Year's Day.
Yeah, normally we close, or in the past, we've closed just between, Christmas and New Year's. So we were just checking on that for this year. It will have to be pending if we get any, statewide initiative petitions. Because those would be due during that time frame we are gone back to the Secretary of State.
Okay. So are you talking about the 27th? The 24th is a Friday.
24th is- Yeah, it's,
Yeah, so it'd be like from the 27th to the 31st.
do you, I thought we closed Christmas Eve.
I don't think we had before, but if you'd like to do that, that would be
Very appreciative.
fine as well. I mean,
Since I drive to Chillicothe.
Well, but for, I mean, there's no general activity that goes on because the courthouse systems usually are all closed. The offices upstairs, et cetera, are usually done on the 24th.
Yeah,
At best, they
that'd
might
be
be open
closed.
half a day, but I think universally they're just closed.
I think Children's Services, not that that makes a difference, but
Closed.
they're closed for
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Right.
The
So
whole
I'm
day?
Christmas
thinking
Eve.
Or Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're talking about 24 through 31.
Right,
Okay.
pending if
Pending
we get the,
If there's statewide
right, petitions.
petitions. And then at that point, you can maybe use a half a,
Yeah, we'll just.
Right, it depends on how much we
work
would,
out a half a thing depending on how
yeah, the
much
two
you
of us
have.
would come in.
How do we know whether or not we would have petitions? I mean,
I think the state will contact us.
is that, okay.
Yeah,
I'm afraid I don't have any chatter beyond normal conjecture as to whether anybody will be filing.
Okay.
I mean,
and last year, I mean, we didn't have any, but
we've all seen, this and that, there's always some group circulating for something, but whether or not they'll have enough on their end to where they even try to file, who knows?
So this is just for issues, this is not for candidates?
That's my understanding.
yeah, I think it was just for.
Because I know
It's
that
what
we
it said
passed
in
out
the,
petitions the other night for Tim Ryan, so I don't know if those will become
I mean, it potentially could be for,
Okay,
Yeah, it's just a question of whether they get enough,
depending on when they turn them in.
turn them in.
okay. Because do they have to go to the county of which they were
Yeah, well,
circulated?
they turn them into the state first, and then the state will send them out to the county.
To the, yeah.
Oh,
Where they were
okay,
collected, So we can
okay,
check them.
okay.
Yeah, so we get a heads up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I need a motion to close from 24 through 31 pending state issues.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
I have a question.
We've already talked really
Do
about
you
the
already take
schools.
Friday off after Thanksgiving, or do they have to
And
vote
you've
on that?
given us.
You know, we're already closed, and we didn't have it on here, but we are always closed the Friday after Thanksgiving, because the Secretary of State's office.
Right.
So, okay. I didn't know if they needed to vote.
No, it's a given. That's part of the system.
So we can do Black Friday shopping.
Not me.
Actually, I'm not, but I have before.
I have 35 people
Well,
coming to my daughter's
I did
house.
once.
You did once.
That's the worst mistake.
Yeah, my family's.
And then you never did it again.
I think you guys
All the way to
64 accepted.
Jeffersonville.
64 accepted?
Is that-
Let me count,
I'm checking.
I'll count up what we have here. This is the provisionals.
These are provisionals, yeah. I haven't started on absentees yet.
So you go, okay, so you're coming up, back up in December, you stay here for Christmas, or you head back down?
I will leave after summer conference, or winter conference.
Oh, okay, okay, then leave after winter conference.
Where is the winter conference here?
Hilton, no, Hyatt,
It'll be in the same place the summer one was.
yeah, Hyatt,
And then the summer one next year is changing.
is at Hilton Easton,
Yeah.
which is my favorite
Yep.
hotel.
They're changing where?
Right.
Okay.
We're going to Hilton Easton, you know, the big Hilton right there at Easton,
Yeah.
that's where the summer conference is. The winter conference, we're still back at the Hyatt Regency.
Well, I thought you said the winter conference will be changing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think they had an incident at Easter.
It did.
perfect.
Yeah, I saw a blurb about that too.
What happened?
Last week or so.
Oh, yes, at that Target,
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the target.
shooting at a Target.
the East Target.
Well, we'll have Melissa with us and she carries, so. I'm so just kidding. Well, I'm Dean with disability.
I carry a nice.
I count 65 absentee days.
I just
Or,
explained to people that I
60
probably
for the
represented their
provisionals.
cousin, kept
Yeah, 65,
jail.
I count 65.
That's fine.
Did you do for the 9, 10, and 11, we only counted
Courtesy.
10.
Yes, you got me, you got me.
So we are correct on the number?
Is that what you got with that?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
So how many?
64.
64. I'll take mine.
I got
That's what I told
67.
him already.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
it. 60.
64.
that's what we accepted. And then 28 of the absentees.
You're right, I put 3 down that didn't
Well,
count.
it's, I mean,
Yeah, because on the ones that were the 9, 10, and 11, we only counted 10.
Right. No, I counted the 3 that,
so that's 76 minus 11.
Yeah, because we had 76 altogether.
So there were 65.
Because there was 8, I counted.
Oh, we rejected 74, 75, and 76.
8,
Because there was 8 in the first
There
group
were 4
and then 1 in the
rejections.
second group.
5, 50.
4 rejections, 76 minus 4.
If there are any questions, we could count them.
Yeah, there's the reject pile.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Then we
sorry,
had
5
fif-
rejections. No,
65 is what we counted, isn't it?
75, yeah. We had 5, 6, 7.
Because we did over when we read.
10, there were 10 rejections.
1, 2,
say, how
We
many do we have
rejected
in our?
12
3, 4,
through
5.
16 as well.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rejections.
You guys accepted 12 through 16.
Yeah, we did accept them, I'm sorry. We rejected 9 and 11
And then 67 through 72.
and 70. Yeah, 67 through 72 and 74 through 76.
Precisely.
Right.
That's 11 total rejection.
That's 11, isn't it?
11.
Yeah, I got 11 rejected.
So that's 65 that we count?
Yeah, so we need one more. Did we get the,
The one we counted is 73.
yeah.
73 we counted.
So you
One of
want-
them is a remake. Have you guys
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had it.
Yeah, that's 73, right?
Yeah,
That was
45. And then
So did you vote to reject 74 through 76?
No, 74.
Those three.
Yeah, 74 through
And then
76 is
70 through 72, right?
70 to 72 were rejected.
Right. And then on the front side, 67, 68, 60.
11
So
rejected.
there's 3 there, 6, 9. On those pages, there are 9. And then if we go all the way to the front, there were 2 more on the front page. That makes 11.
If you guys haven't remade number 73, then he's only gonna have 60.
So I count a total of 11. And there are 76, and just correct, you get 65.
Thank you. Okay. Jed is coming in to clean our offices today.
Who?
Jed
Oh.
cleans offices, so since he's on our payroll, we just asked him to come in. Obviously, the secretary is coming in tomorrow.
130.
Yes.
Yes,
Give or take.
yes.
If anything, personally, I'm thinking it might be a bit early. Looking at the itinerary for today, the event in Nelsonville is pretty big, but, you know, that'll be one where we're gonna be itching for him to leave as soon as possible. And then the event right before this is one that I don't think will take long at all, so. I would say, if anything, it might be early. Could be
Well, that
wrong,
means what?
might be a bit early.
Earlier.
Well, I'll be,
I might be late then.
yeah, 'cause I'll be here at 1:30.
I've got an appointment.
I mean, we'll be here at 1:30, but
Yeah,
Did we come up with, we had 65 votes we counted?
There actually was 65.
That's what I thought. That's what I
He said it
thought.
That's what I
incorrectly.
got.
There was actually 65.
And then we
And
had
then we counted 65.
On the provision. And then we're working.
28 from the absentees, right?
Yeah,
And the one was remade, so it's been taken.
yeah, and that was taken care of.
so we were on the, I want to talk a little bit about the visit tomorrow. Caleb, if you want to, we were on a conference call with the secretary's office and Caleb Monday,
Yeah,
and we're gonna do a press walkthrough. The secretary's gonna talk, and then Mandy is gonna talk about the whole reconciliation and audit process. And then, I'm gonna talk, because they want to show, obviously, how we work bipartisanly, so. I'm gonna talk a little bit, and then we're gonna have the clerks out here actually kind of doing some.
like they're counting for the audit. They're
Yeah,
going through the sorting of ballots for the audit.
So, he's inviting the press. They're taking care of all of that, although I need to call that patch guy, Christopher,
Yeah,
to let him know.
Is he back?
Is he back? Oh, I don't
He
know.
left.
Oh, he did. Well, I'm
You
still
mean
getting
left?
patch.
Yeah, but I don't think it's him anymore.
You don't think it's him? Okay, I'll look on patch today and find out. Okay.
yeah, see if it may be.
Yeah. I take it we don't need to deal with any meals or anything that they, okay, that's all taken care of, okay.
28 is absentee.
Yes,
Okay.
But they had mentioned they wanted, me to talk, like, you know, while the clerks are doing, like they're looking through the ballots for the audit, which they could actually be really sorting, but
Yeah,
talk a little bit, just for a couple minutes, is all they said about.
How long do we expect him to be here? Just an hour?
Yeah, no more than an hour.
Okay.
Maybe like maybe 15 or 20 minutes beforehand with, you guys and any board members that can make it and, other staff. And then we had mentioned if you got some, real star poll workers or whatever.
Yeah, the more I thought about that, I felt like that was gonna be rushed with everything, since we only had an hour, so we're just gonna go with the board and the staff
Mhm.
at this point.
And during that time, the questions that up in here.
Yeah.
And,
Should that be zoomed as well?
They're clean.
Do we want that?
I would just leave it to whatever.
We did a little more cleaning.
Ben Kendall's probably gonna be there.
Okay.
Like he's our social media guy and
Later this afternoon.
just leave it to the three.
Okay, okay. I
And
will.
what's he gonna do between
Yeah. something.
here and the evening event?
It'll be straight up, straight from here
It's
to
back
the
there a little.
courthouse. There's a round table going on with the commissioners, folks from the Port Authority. Flight's been very helpful with that. so.
Okay, I just wanna make sure you. that's something
Yeah,
for
it'll be
the
going
cap.
straight from here to the courthouse for that, so.
That's why I didn't go ahead and invite the commissioners, because I knew that he was meeting
They'll be
with
there
them,
right
so.
after, yeah.
So I thought they didn't have to be here and there,
Mhm.
so.
I could print out, if you want, our absentee workbook while we're waiting for the
Sure.
results to finish up. And then I will have to, once we get the official results, I'll have to plug numbers into some reports for you guys to sign.
Right.
For any of stuff.
Well, and then again, we need to look at it because we.
Right, we'll have to look at it to
recounts.
see if we have anything else.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and
I'm
print
not worried
our
about it. I mean, I'll just,
auto workbook off.
Yeah, the audit, yeah.
Yeah, so we can look at that.
I mean, I don't put anything back there. You want to recess or we just,
No, we're gonna get an audit.
okay, okay.
Good thinking about that.
So they moved a lot of material.
Hmm,
Did they move a lot of material to clean it up?
I guess.
In the back, he means in the,
Mhm.
he means in the storage room.
Oh, yeah, things are a little different back there and they're a little different in the server room, for lack of a better way of putting it. Straighten that up.
I'll go there and look at it.
So you take a peek.
Yeah.
And again, Mrs. Kirkbride has volunteered to come in and go through those totes, which will likewise get those further organized. So that should help.
Very nice.
Did any of your polling locations use, for lack of a better phrase, square or circular stand or sit voting booths where you had more than one machine? Did you see any of those?
I only stopped at one polling location.
Oh, okay.
But that was in Muskam where they vote with paper and they have the different, it'd be like tables with the privacy boards.
Boards around
So
them?
you're standing in a line next to each other, I guess.
Yeah. Because we're relatively assured that where we voted the presidential was looking out that window, you can sort of see there's some windows at the end. It's a training room, conference room setting that's bigger than this.
Mhm.
And it was available to us. It will not be available to us again.
Mhm.
So most likely, we're going to be in here. And I think we had this, probably Jed and those guys would be better equipped to answer this. but memory serves me like 12 or 13 voting locations. Well, if you're setting up a system to vote using tables and so forth, the best we're probably gonna do is 7, maybe 8. So we were looking at these circular jobs and so forth, and trying to get a feel for on the floor, for lack of a better way, you know,
Well,
how
If
much
I think
space
of
do you,
the size
will
of
they
most-
occupy
I
with?
think, yeah, the size of most circular, event tables, I would think would be quite large for this relative to the amount of machines you could fit on one. Seeing a table like that one at the end there, what I see a lot of counties will do in a room about this size is you'd have like, in that corner, 2 machines facing this way, and directly facing the opposite way on the same table would be 2 machines facing that way. You have like 3 tables like that, so you got 4 machines, 4 machines, 4 machines, and you can pack them in.
And we universally get complaints because people can see how you vote. So,
Yeah, but there, it's where, you've got a voting machine facing this way, and I'm here voting, you have another voting machine facing this way. I mean, you could look up and stare deeply into each other's eyes, but
yeah,
you
but
can't see how
how
it's
did you
voting.
get to that seat without walking along and
Behind.
looked at how the other person that was facing you or would be facing you, you could see how they're voting.
I mean,
And we've had voters complain
that's,
vociferously. So all of our polling locations, 100% of them, is the voter's back is to a wall somewhere. And on a table like this, we could only put in 2. Because you must enter the table this way or this way,
To your machine.
so that you never walk behind a voter. People it's interesting, the number of complaints we got the first time we set up. So we changed everything. So if we were gonna use these circular jobs, we're also going to have to get the,
I mean, I would defer to any guidelines that exist on the subject, but, with any leeway that you guys have in this small space, gearing up for presidential, I would prioritize number of machines.
yeah,
Because compare, what's your number of complaints gonna be for someone who thinks that people are spying on how they're voting versus people that are waiting for hours and hours to vote early,
yeah. Well,
don't end
we
up
would-
like Tuscarawas County before their presidential cycle.
Yeah, see, our voters are used to a wait time of about 20 seconds.
Last year, we did have people waiting.
And we did have a
around the
line,
corner.
but there was no line where we voted over there. There was always an empty space.
Right, just to get in and.
But it was here that we had the line and so forth, even though we had, I think, at least, we had 4 poll books going and so forth. But we were just amazed the number of people who complained about.
Okay,
You could see people voting.
we may have a recount for Muskingum Township. 21.48% and 21.08%.
It's
Muskegon Township, you say?
Muskingum Township trustee.
0.05%.
005.
What is it, 0.005?
005. Equals
Where's
for
that
less
at?
than 1/2, it's on the second page of that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's 0.5%, which is, 0.005.
Well, the specific formula is slightly different. It's for the multi-candidate races, you only count, and it's like, multi-candidate races, you can elect 2. You pretty much discount all the votes for the top candidate whose victory is not disputed. You take the number 2 candidate, the number 3 candidate, and any other losing candidate, and then add those up, and it's 0.5% of that, according to these instructions. So it's still probably gonna be a recount.
Because we would take the,
Is it Muskingum?
yeah, Muskegon Township.
Here we go.
What page is it on?
That's page 5.
Yeah, 5 of 9.
Huck is the winner, 908. So it's at 474.
The threshold for a recount is 6.725 votes, and the margin is 9 votes by my calculations.
And this is 9 votes.
I mean, please do double check me relative to the instructions, but it's where you're adding 386 plus 484 plus 475, ignore the 908 for Huck, add up those three, and then,
And then what?
and then that sum times 0.005, that's your threshold for a recount.
386.
Equal to or less than 0.5% of the total votes cast in the candidate contest.
1345, and then do what?
Times 0.005.
All right, this is.
6.73.
You don't round. That's the threshold for if you
It's
move
in the,
recount, not the recount.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
You've got the instructions?
Yeah, it kind of it starts at the end of the other page, but.
It was 9, must be, that was over 6.7, right?
Yeah, 6.725, that's what I got. So we don't?
That's what I, based on what he said.
Now, can a candidate still request a recount?
Really?
Yeah.
They can do a requested recount.
These were second.
They have to pay for it.
They have to pay for it?
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's so much per
For time and
precinct.
everything.
Oh, my goodness, okay.
Let's see, here's the requested. Or here's. That's what there's one. Yeah, I was gonna say, here's one, there's several.
So you add,
Okay, so the instructions, automatic recounts, what page? It
That's the page
says
started on.
Is it like 9-4?
9-4, so it's talking about automatic recounts, and then it moves on to we see the example there,
On page 5, there's a.
yeah, on the next page. So it says, do not include the votes for candidates 1 and 2 to compute the total vote for the third seat, because their nomination or election is not in dispute. So then you would take the votes for candidates 3 and then anybody else, add them together, and then that's your total. So like we said here, Mr. Huck, it's not in dispute that he won, it's about number 2. So you take the votes cast for number 2, number 3, and number 4, add that together, times 0.005, and that's the threshold for a recount.
just 6.725.
And the margin being 9 votes, in my opinion, that means no recount is required.
Right.
Right.
Agree.
That's what we come up with.
And the other one, Jed was good.
Jed was good.
Wasn't Independence or whatever it is.
Yeah, Independence Township from Jad. Which is on the same page as Muskingum Township there on page 5 of 9.
Were there any others?
He was, or the top vote getter was the Thomas Stahl, 35. And then Jed had 31, and the closest person to him had 28.
So we do the same thing, right? 35 is the winner.
What race is this?
This is
For
For Independence on the same page, it's the second one on the left.
So you'd add up 28, 17, and 31. Yes, no.
76.
Times 0.005.
Point three.
That's
Point,
0.38.
what'd you say, times 0.05?
Zero.
So it's not even a whole vote.
Yeah,
Oh, it's, yes,
And the election being decided by 3 votes is well above the threshold of 0.38.
Yeah, which would probably have to go
And that-
voters.
With that number of votes, the only way there'd be a recount is if it was literally tied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be flipping the old coin.
It's good math skills, Caleb.
The only thing I'm good at.
So we're good?
I say, I don't know that there was any others that were close
So,
enough to.
If the candidate would ask for a recount, they accept their cost, do they have a certain amount of time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in here, a requested recount may be conducted only when an automatic recount is not mandated. The recount of a candidate contest may be requested by any candidate who is not declared nominated or elected, or a group of people can. Let's see, they have to file a written application with the Board of Elections for the recount of votes. The Board of Elections that receives a valid recount application is promptly notified the Secretary of State.
Within 5 days after the Board of Elections or Secretary declares the official results. So recount, and that requested recounts on page 9-5.
Yes, that's within 5 days, yeah.
So within 5 days from today, after they
Because
vote?
today is when we'll declare the,
So do we notify the candidates then? Okay,
because we'll put this up on our website and everything too, so.
okay.
It says if they do it, they must file a deposit of $65 per precinct to be recounted,
oh, no.
Good one.
so. So if they're in a,
And that's Brian Pratt?
or yeah, for Muskingum, so they'd have, there's 4 precincts that are in Muskingum.
And it's 65 times.
So it'd be 65 apiece for those, whatever that comes out to.
260.
Yeah.
The only other thing, so the candidates that are marked W was a write-in.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
qualified write-ins, yes.
Again, I could be wrong here, but I had heard that in order for a write-in candidate to be elected, they need to receive a number of votes that matches the number of signatures they needed to qualify as a write-in candidate.
Because, the board voted to certify them because they turned in a petition to be a write-in candidate. So they were already a certified candidate.
I mean, check my instructions there, but I saw other candidates where other counties where the write-in candidate did not receive a number of votes that matched the number of signatures that they needed.
Well, because they didn't need, because for a write-in, you don't need signatures.
Yeah.
But for township trustee, like if you were going to be a real candidate, I shouldn't say real, but if you were gonna be a candidate that, took a petition around, they need 25 signatures each. So maybe it's talked about that, if you would do a petition, that's how many.
The discussion that I saw was in regards to village offices, writing candidates for village offices.
Yeah.
They were-
Because they need 10, if you're if you're a regular candidate.
They were
not
talking
write-in
about, like,
candidate.
You're filing as a write-in, you gather signatures for that.
But you don't,
Yeah.
No, you
you don't
don't.
enter signatures as a write-in.
Yeah.
You qualify
There's
write-in, you
just
don't
a-
have to.
Yeah, qualified write-ins don't need signatures.
You have to declare it or request it, and then we act upon it.
Mm-hmm. And the
Yeah, I
only
had
agent that's true.
Someone in Delaware County, they won
Was
off
Lower
one
State,
write-in
yeah.
earlier this week.
I'm sorry?
I said I had one in Delaware, they won off of one write-in. Qualified write-in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see,
They're
for our,
uncontested, but
For
Vote for
Belgrade Fourth Ward
yourselves, but-
Council.
So you got one vote?
They go, oh, yeah.
You're kidding me.
No.
Yeah.
Delaware County.
Didn't we have it was all right?
For Belgrade Fourth Ward, he was the only write-in candidate.
He said one right and got one vote, just, and he got in, just to get the
Yeah,
one
he was.
vote.
Yeah, he was uncontested.
He voted for himself.
I voted for himself, yeah.
And nobody else voted for him.
Nobody.
This is sort of weird, the Belgrade Fourth Ward, the only candidate was a write-in,
Yeah,
but
it was write-in.
how did they only get one vote?
Voted for
It was
himself.
just him.
Yeah, same scenario.
Like, he's not married and his wife didn't vote?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No cousins or
I'm not sure I
anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
or maybe she didn't want him to have it, I don't know.
Yeah.
What position was he running for?
This one, we got one
Yeah, you
vote.
got one too.
I
Yeah.
thought the one you got. And
No, it was kind of the same deal, some little village position or
We
something,
might wanna check New Metamorph's.
or education or something.
New Metamorph's Council,
Yeah.
Page,
page 3. Second one on the right.
Page 3.
Yes.
vote for 4,
Schmidt,
so
Vote for four.
vote for 4, so take the top 4 out.
so Blaze,
But the top four are, well, for four, there's a tie.
ooh, yeah.
Schmidt's in third. Yeah, tie for fourth.
Between Belleville and Dunn.
That's interesting.
So that's an automatic
Yeah.
recount?
Well, they'll have to flip a coin today to pick a winner, and then we would. How does it say?
Oh, we don't have to recount first and then?
No. You have to declare a winner first.
Yeah, somebody has to have won and lost before you can recount who won
Okay.
and lost.
They had to do that somewhere else, I saw.
I've seen 2 so far this year in the state, but those have just been ones where they like grabbed a video and posted it on the secretary's.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
There's,
Well, that's a tie right there anyway.
Yeah.
So we have to have a-
We gotta flip.
but for the, what is the threshold for a recount?
We did this once before, flip, and the guy won.
And he
One
didn't
half,
want it.
1%,
And he lost on the recount. So we need a quarter?
Or we can draw a name out of that.
Or do you wanna draw a name? What's your preference?
Because here it says, any contest that is tied according to the results of the official canvass triggers an automatic recount. Any candidate contest that has tied according to the results of the official canvass should be resolved by lot at the end of the board's official canvass. In the event that the board neglected to resolve a tie in a candidate race at the end of the official canvass, as law requires, it must break the tie by lot before starting the recount. The board may only resolve a tie by lot during a public meeting with a majority of the board present.
The Connecticut coin.
Mr. President?
No,
This
this
is
is
the last time I did it. We declared the winner, and then
my
we
first coin
Then
flip.
we had to change.
we did the rest. And both guys wanted the other guy to win.
So we have,
Called the first one, the winner was sad. He said, oh, I wanted Charlie to win. And then when we did the absentee, et cetera, lo and behold, Charlie won. And when we called him, he wanted Frank to win. He was thrilled with the coin and disappointed when it took place.
Yeah, pardon me, this is my first coin flip. Is there nothing in there about needing to notify the candidates?
Not,
Well, you have to
Yeah,
notify
well, we
him
will
that you have a
after,
winner.
yeah.
And tell them it's time, there's gonna be a recount, but the flip of the coin gave it to somebody.
Who calls it?
Oh, I'll
You guys,
flip it.
have to decide first,
So we
what,
have to-
yeah, which is.
All right. You ready?
But wait, you gotta give who's head and who's tails.
Yeah.
So we have Shane and
Just,
Belleville,
alphabetically. I don't care.
Belleville
Get done.
and Dunn, Terry A. Dunn Senior.
Belleville has.
Belleville will be a heads and Dunn will be a tails.
Correct.
We'll do it that way.
For the win.
So actually, you don't have to call anything.
I don't,
You
I
just
just
need-
told
You
her
already
what I
did it?
did.
I
I
already,
did.
There we go.
Heads.
heads
Heads,
Okay, winner.
chicken dinner.
Winner.
for the moment.
So we
Say,
take
if it comes down to
everything and
recount,
we have to
stays
recount.
tied, what do we do?
Yes.
Do Flip again, or leave it like it was?
We'll leave it like it was.
No, so Mr. Belleville has won the election.
Correct.
Now you'll recount it, and if nothing changes, he's still the winner.
He's right.
Right.
Right. And we can start the recount.
Yeah, we can start it within, I think it was 6
Is it
days.
the only
from-
one that,
That's the only one that we found Melissa alerted me to, for that one. And I
and
would've double checked
in
that.
that same election, there aren't enough votes cast for the fifth place person to get a recount to be in the fourth place, ergo in the
Probably not.
coin flip.
There's 6 vote difference.
I think it was 6 votes.
6 vote difference.
Yeah, and it was 3.75 or something like that.
Yeah. The whole shebang.
The recount threshold in New Metamoris there, that was like 1.6 or so.
Yeah, you're thinking of the other one, Charlie, Independence.
Oh.
It was 3 point something. This is less.
Look it through to make sure there's not any others there.
Newport had a difference of what, 11, so I don't think that would ever get there. So,
Okay, so now you will notify Belleville and Dunn.
Mhm.
Yes.
and Salem Township, the difference was 8. And 7.
Did you say you calculated the Newport one?
Newport was 11.
So 2,000 ballots. That'd be 10, right? Correct, half a percent of 2,000 would be 10. And in Belpre City Schools, that is 13. And I did it roughly because the largest vote getter was 628. So you take that off the 656, it's virtually 2,000.
Yeah.
So even if you squeezed another one out of it, you don't get up to 11, and it's 13. Is the difference with the fourth and the third place. I got that right.
What about Caldwell exempted,
That one we wouldn't do anyway,
even though
You just-
it's in our county?
because Noble County would do it, because they're the majority
The
county.
majority
So
county.
we'll report our results to them, because these people have got more votes than what we have.
Okay, so we don't have to do it on.
Yeah,
our
just because it's tied on our end, like, that
Yeah.
actually means nothing relative to the overall result.
Okay, okay.
Here, huge difference.
So I didn't see any other ones that I thought.
I didn't.
I checked Newport was fine.
All right.
Same way with the road, the Watertown Roads levy. Is the last page. And I was hoping that passed. It's 50.94 and 49.06.
Which one did you talk about?
Watertown Roads, levy, 4 mil, it's on the last page.
Yeah, that's almost 2%.
Okay,
What did you say?
it's almost 2%.
Do you need to do a motion or anything on, new map?
Yeah, you need to declare. We're in the recount.
Right. Well, we have to first accept and make this the official
Yeah.
canvas. And then as a result of that, then we have our recounts, right?
Right.
The tie-in thing.
Motion to accept.
I move that we accept the,
Official results.
official results.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Okay, now new map.
Now we have two races. We determined there's a necessity of a recount. Is it two or just the tie?
Just the new memoirs.
Just the tie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I kept trying to get that up on it. Lord knows why. All right. So I think we'll need a motion from the board to direct staff to conduct a recount and notify the parties.
I make a motion to have the staff do a recount on the election of, what did you say, Newport?
New map.
Or new memoirs.
Humana Morris.
Village Council.
And then, after the recount, let the candidate know who won.
Or
Second?
the candidates need to be told that the recount is.
Yeah, we have to notify
We'll
them
notify.
at least 5 days before the recount date.
Right.
Now, is the recount something we have to do publicly?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll have to be an open meeting. Yeah, the board will have to be here and we'll have to do an open meeting where they'll vote.
So it's after 5.
So what's our
Yeah, so the
deadline?
recount shall take place not later than 10 days after today.
All right,
So somewhere before the,
So we would probably, send out notification to them today, let them know, so it'll have to be at least 5 days from today.
is that just 5 days as opposed to 5 business days?
It doesn't state.
My
business
understanding
days.
is days, not
Just days.
business days.
Yeah,
we
it
do
does
it
not state
Wednesday,
business.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving, next Wednesday,
What date is that?
24th.
24th,
Do you want to do it very early?
yes.
Say, we just started at 8 o'clock?
Or start at 8.
24th,
Yeah, let's start at 8, so people have travel plans.
That's what I was thinking,
Get it over
get it taken care of, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna schedule this recount for November 24th at 8 a.m.
November 24th at 8 a.m.
All right, so we'll let the two candidates know.
Okay.
Is there a way for, on our report, since it's a tie vote, is there a way to show who the winner was? Or does
No,
anybody
no.
else done anything?
No, I haven't run into this situation yet.
Okay.
I don't know anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was trying to think, you know, because if we post this on our website or
I mean, I
anything,
can,
people will just
I
say.
can put something, I can edit something in there
You could
outside of.
also release a statement, like on your website,
Yeah,
next
maybe
to
that.
where you post this to say, you know, statement that there was a tie in New Metamoris and between these candidates, coin was flipped.
And then, so Triad could maybe do that first and put that on the,
So you're gonna, do you have to prepare a report or two for our signature?
yes, so I can go do that
And do you want us to pick one of these or?
and sign, yeah, maybe.
I put a note on mine with regard to Belleville, so
Yeah, so if you wanna do,
we can use this one.
just use it then. All right.
How many contests do we have this time?
You know, I never counted it up on either. So, all right, I'll move get started on the reports for you to sign.
Well, thank you for your help, Kayla, that was handy.
I only recently learned the detail about calculating recount thresholds for multi-candidate races. I hadn't been aware of that previously.
Well,
Oh, someone sign it?
Have you signed this?
Yeah.
Yes, I did,
Where's the rest of them?
right here, I think, it seems light. I had it on top of the signature page.
there should be every page but the last page, hopefully. Got one.
There's not that. This is the 9th page.
Lion kettle of fish.
Sign.
Oh, do we need to do something on that? I don't think so. We just, because we already certified the election, then we could send
Yeah.
those out because it's a valid election, our thing.
But we need to probably take out.
Well, are those, wait a minute. Oh, I see what you're saying. You gotta go back through. Unless it wasn't in, well, no. Would it have been different, I wonder?
What are you, I don't know what you're talking about.
The coin,
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember there being a tie
okay.
before. So is it possible this person got 2 votes to suddenly score
You
it
want me to
ahead,
print it
you know, get up to a tie or something?
You want me to go print it on officials?
That's okay. We'll at least see if the name's in there, but then we just look at one of our unofficial.
Yeah.
Well, I need to take out, see who we had for New Matamoros.
You just need to add Shane.
What is it, New Metamoris? Is that the?
Yeah,
It's toward Adams, it's towards the back, New Matamoros Village. That's Blaze. Show, nope.
And then we got,
Until. Oh, they're not all in order.
No,
Grandview. That's the 30. There's the fourth.
Well, the fourth
Four.
one's tied. That's-
Yeah, the fourth one's tied. Right now it's Shane, right?
Yeah. So keep
Belleville.
looking for another Matamoros.
Belfry, New Matamoros Village.
Okay.
Schmidt,
Yep, Schmidt.
Terry Dunn,
Oh, this is supposed to
Batten.
that one's good, because that's a different code version.
Okay,
Yep, these are four.
those are the four.
Yeah.
So right now we have to put Shane, but Shane's not officially, he is officially elected now, but we have to do the.
Yeah, here's some,
Subject to a
they
recall.
did get some.
These are the certified results.
Yeah.
The winner.
Duncy had 72 and Belleville at the time had 68. So he pulled in 4 more to tie Dunn at 72, who didn't get any other votes except on election day. So was there one in there for Belleville?
No,
All right, but there was one for Dunn,
yes.
so that needs to be removed. And a replacement for Shane M. Belleville. Oh, fascinating. Wonder if Shane is related to Tim or Norman.
Tim Belleville?
All I can think of is
Tim
there's a
Dunn.
beautiful little town in Richland County called Belleville.
I went to high school in Bellsville,
Mhm.
which is next county north.
Yeah.
There's a Belleville.
The Dunns.
There's a Belleville, Ohio too.
Entertaining.
Up north somewhere.
Richland County.
Mhm.
Seem to be their only source of income.
What's the correct pronunciation of
Kelly,
it?
you work for the state?
Recreation.
He works for the Secretary of State.
I might have already.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is our vendor,
Now, the
Caleb Pierce.
I know.
Mike
They're
Doyle.
on conferences. And a lot of times they'll call them Bellsville.
Well,
At least according to the
it's
government.
BEA, isn't it?
Occasionally I got them all.
Oh, there's a little bit
Lack
of
of a
truth
lack of
somewhere.
a witness.
Maybe is printing
Or the
out,
witness suddenly had a completely
Something.
different.
The ones we had
version
signed.
of the
yes, the
event.
one you got.
That never happened.
I
Yeah.
don't care which one, it's just.
Yes, you gotta sign something here,
The
Charlie.
road.
I was gonna say, we didn't sign enough things for this.
Yeah, we didn't get your John Hancock near enough.
I think there's more papers to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be in Columbus in January?
Yeah.
We want good giveaways this time.
I'll tell Janet. Better up our.
I've got enough tchotchkes, I want something, you
I'm
know.
strictly into decent candy myself.
Yeah.
Let's get real. You guys aren't gonna branch out into like election voting booths, are you? Or anything?
I don't think we have any plans for them.
Do you ever deal with a company that makes them though? Do you know?
Nah, no, not off the top of my head.
You know, I mean, something that your machine would fit in
Perfect.
whatever
Yeah,
cubicle or cubby hole or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
yeah, that'd be a question for Todd.
Yeah,
We're looking at getting stand-up voting
circular.
booths.
Yeah.
That's like 4 to 6,
Uh-huh.
that the table can move up
Can
or
move,
down for
uh-huh.
handicapped accessible.
Yeah. And we
Because we're gonna have to
probably
have early voting here in this room again
Yep.
next year, and it's a gubernatorial federal election.
Yep,
So we need to be able to vote a lot of people in a short, small space.
small space, yeah.
So,
Yeah, because we got an abundance of electricity here.
Yeah.
Our problem is just,
Just
it's
space.
just wall space.
Yeah,
So if we could do those and add curtains on them so that
Yeah.
we could
And
close
some
them.
of them actually have curtains, I think, that come with
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Well, I've seen them.
Be voting in here, we'll have to have curtains.
Yeah, we'll have to have
As
curtains in here, yeah.
you're walking around behind people all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, or we'll have that one lady, God bless her, who'll think they can see through the material on the window if you're back there and look in. She was concerned that at one of our voting locations, a very tall person could look in a gym window.
and I've seen a prototype for, it's just attachment, it slides over the tablet and adds about, I don't know, a couple inches on each side.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are, I don't know what the status of those are. But I saw the prototype was pretty nice because it guards the sides of the screen. When you're standing in front of it, it's pretty hidden, yeah, pretty hard to see what
Okay,
someone's doing on it.
Yeah,
yeah.
we just had countless people. It
Yeah, complaining that.
was amazing. Just big time.
Do you have any more official canvases to attend?
Yeah, I gotta do Marion's tomorrow.
Has Meg's already done theirs?
Yeah, it makes it theirs on Tuesday.
Is Tammy come
Angie?
yet? Or Angie, excuse me.
Yeah, she was there.
She lost her husband a
Yeah.
month ago.
Mhm.
You say you have to go where?
Marion?
Marion,
Yeah.
today?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, I thought you said today at
Oh, no.
noon. I was- You better get.
Yeah, you better get, yeah, no, tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't want to be driving his 100-mile-an-hour car. Although I might be able to get you there. Marion, spent a lot of time there back in the day.
For the prison?
I represent correction.
Yeah,
The prison,
yeah.
It was under a federal, oh, good grief. Can't now think of the word. A judge appointed a professor, law professor, to actually oversee the prison.
Really?
Yeah. Because of allegations of, unconstitutional
Yeah,
conditions and so forth.
yeah.
And so so there was a lot of litigation and
Yeah.
I was the deputy section head and I was actually the head of that unit.
Oh,
That
wow.
did all prisoner or civil rights cases. So we always had, I think we had 1,800 lawsuits pending at any given moment.
Whoa.
I think we had 7 lawyers.
Jeez.
Bill Brown showed up one day and he said, out of curiosity, if you lost every one of these, what would it cost? And I said, well, the state of Ohio, we've already calculated this just out of, curiosity ourselves. We would bankrupt the state 4 times over the value of everything the state owns. He said, I better never see your name next to the word leaves. And we didn't have this conversation. I said, well, a lot of these are squirrely
These are
laws.
single pages, you sign as chair and they follow. And these are the liquor options.
Yep.
My hometown always votes against the liquor options.
Oh, Belpre, years past would have. But, a couple new restaurants coming in, they realize that's some economic development, so.
Yeah, Belpre is really, over the year, you know, if you've been driving, I mean, it's just exploded.
It is,
That
Yeah.
hospital,
Yeah.
that whole hospital complex, doctors moving there. Then the bridge, of course, that goes across the Ohio River. I mean, that's gonna encourage further building. A number of the fast food restaurants, of course, have put in new structures.
Well, this is a Wings, et cetera, which is a restaurant here in Marietta and as well as Caldwell. They're gonna put one of those, which is like a Roosters. Then what's the other restaurant? Is it an Italian?
I was gonna say, I thought it was Italian.
Yeah, an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, going into one of that complex
Yeah.
that they're refurbishing.
So,
And I think it already had a wine shop,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Been there.
Still does.
Yeah, I think the
So-
wine shop, the Peddler's Junction moved out because that's where the restaurant, I believe, is
Gonna go.
heading into.
Yeah.
What are they gonna build on that stair step? Right at, Main Street. They carved it out. It's like it's three, 3 or 4 different layers. Looked like it's been,
On Main Street,
but it's down this way.
This is for the Watertown.
Yeah, will you be back tomorrow?
Right back down.
I told him we have wonderful
where
hotels.
do you live?
Worcester, near Worcester.
I'm sorry?
Worcester.
Worcester?
I don't know where Worcester is, but
Worcester.
Rooster, yep, I always,
Worcester.
my brother
Like
went to
Nurk.
ATI and I always used to say Worcester.
it's, well, so you look at it is you don't take an